Of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki, and I'm starting with Vanguard on the paper review. Vanguard is leading with Rivers crisis. Why I said dogs are barking. That's coming from Fubara. Tinubu can sack me if I can no longer offer anything. That's coming from Wiki. Wiki Amawule avoid impeachment comment on Port Harcourt rally. There's plot to stop legislative proceedings. That's coming from Rivers Assembly. You can see that on page 5. And on page 21, loans to manufacturers shrink to 2.1 trillion naira, drop in 5 sectors, 17.5% to 16.43 trillion naira in 6 months. And that can be found in Financial Vanguard on page 21. On page 9, Tinubu broke education part, abandoned students abroad, Atiku alleges. Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) forwards media trial over Chimamanda's son's death. Page 8 has that story. A top right corner of Vanguard newspaper. Local government account Osun files charges against bank officials. Hearing holds January 30. Iran 466 killed, 2,638 detained. Tehran vows to retaliate if United States strikes, blames foreign terrorists for protest. On page 13, insecurity, release of 70 bandits sparks outrage in Katsina. 6 killed in Niger, Sokoto community. And that's all on Vanguard. Away from there, we move to the Punch. The Punch major headline says a 2026 budget twist. MDAs inject 3.5 trillion naira new project despite federal government fees. Power, transport, health dominates new spending as fresh project takes 15% of capital project. You can see that on page 3. And here there's a photo story with the rider that says Armed Forces Day, federal government, governors are ill soldier sacrifices. Federal government proposes 41 billion naira to upgrade 109 foreign missions. And top banner, we have weekend local government tours. Assembly alleges plots to stall Fubara's impeachment. Lastly, on the Punch newspaper, INEC faces legal aid over missing 55.9 billion naira 2019 election funds. You can see that story on page 34. Away from there, we'll move to the nation. The Nation major headline says alleged armed discovery. Malami faces DSS probe. You can see that story on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Foreign inflows have propelled NGX turnover to 11.3 trillion naira. Result doubles the 2024 figures. Experts attribute success to policy reforms. Top banner on pages 3 and 4. Hospital opens probe into death of Chimamanda Adichie's son. Wema Bank launches upgraded alert banking app version. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, why I'm at peace despite impeachment notice by Fubara. You can see that on page 3. And lastly, let's take a look at The Guardian. The Guardian major headline says 2026 budget. Amid revenue uncertainty, vehicles, sundry expenses caught big slices. You can see that on page 6. NAD postpones a planned strike by 2 weeks as VP Shatima intervenes. Bandits impose 50,000 naira farming tax on Kano Kasina settlement. And Fubara appeals for calm as Rivers Assembly alleges a plot to install impeachment. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, price stability has a first casualty of new tax misinterpretation. Finance and Economy, page 22, as that story. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and let's talk about Rivers. Now, Rivers State Governor Fubara yesterday broke his silence over the impeachment proceedings against him by the State House of Assembly, explaining why he said some dogs don't understand why they back. Fubara spoke on the day his predecessor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) Yeson Wike replied to those asking President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to sack him, said the president can see him only if he could no longer offer him anything. This is even as the State House of Assembly yesterday raised alarm that there were secret plots to procure court orders illegally to restrain the legislature from carrying out its constitutional responsibility. Now, speaking at the church service to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Governor Fubara, who called for calm, assured residents that everything would be fine. He explained that his decision to remain silent in the face of distraction was deliberate, noting that he draws strength from his faith in God. And also in her remarks, the Deputy Governor, Professor Odu, commended attendees for their presence at the church service to mark the event, and she urged everyone to maintain good conduct in line with the admonition of the Dean of the Anglican Communion, who stressed during his sermon that every action will be remembered at one time or another. And of course, you can get more of that story inside Vanguard newspaper. Now, away from there, let's talk about still other parties. Now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has accused the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of abandoning Nigerian students studying overseas under the bilateral education agreement BEA, warning that the alleged breach has left about 1,600 young students stranded abroad and stripped of support. Now, in a statement yesterday, Atiku said the BEA scholarship scheme was quietly discontinued under the Tinubu administration without notice to parents or wards and without consideration for students already midway through their studies overseas. He explained that the BEA, which began in 1993, was revitalized in 1999, was redesigned to allow Nigerian students pursue undergraduate and postgraduate education through agreement between Nigeria and partner countries, describing it as a diplomatic bridge now left broken. Atiku said the hardship deepened between September and December 2023 when stipends were unpaid before allowances were cut by 56% in 2024 from $500 to $220 per month and later stopped entirely. He added that there was no payment throughout 2025. And of course, there's still more to that story. You can get that on our website, www.vanguardnigeria.com. Now, let's end it on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking this morning is Mrs. This says, you said I'm your number one, yet there are other women in your life. And Mr. replied, dear, no number stands in isolation. So for number one to maintain its position, other numbers must exist. And that's the truth. I mean, for you to be number one, there must be number two, there must be number three, there must be number four. I mean, without, like I say, there must be competition. And but of course, these people, they know how to, answer each other in words. So this is where we have to draw the curtain this morning. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Do what you like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardindia.com. Have a lovely